This is my gift to the world. La magie soup. That's French, it's fancy. The magic soup. And here it is. You can use it commercially, you can use it to impress your friends, whatever you want to do. But you'll love it. These are the ingredients to the magic soup. All around the world you'll have different varieties, but this is Singapore noodles. These are pork and chive dumplings. At the back there is some cooked, smoked chicken pieces. Get them in any deli. Mushrooms, I prefer the brown ones. You can use the white ones if you like. There's a shallot, some crushed chilies. There are 2 litres of chicken stock. And these are frozen Thai inspired vegetables. Again, no matter where in the world you'll be able to get them. There's 2 in that. I'll only use one of those. And there's 2 in the noodles, and I'll only use one of those. A little bit of parsley and black pepper. That is the ingredients to the magic soup. Okay, the first thing we do is add a fairly large teaspoon of the crushed chili. That's all. And now we're going to add the 2 litres of chicken stock. This is your broth. The last 2 litre. The last litre makes 2 litres of chicken stock. What we'll do is we'll get that on to just a low medium heat. Just want to stir some of that chili that's on the bottom. And that is the stock underway. Now, let's start the rest of the ingredients. Okay, now we're going to add some of that smoked cooked chicken that you can get from a deli. There's 200 grams here. That goes in. And these are those Thai-inspired vegetables. Frozen pack. Just 1 pack is going in. You can put more in, but I always just use 1. At this stage, I'm going to put some cracked black pepper. And probably about, let's see, probably about a teaspoon of just plain old parsley flakes. In that goes. This is just slowly heating up. I could probably tell you even now, just as a soup, that would be delicious. Now let's go and cut the shallots and mushrooms up. Okay, this is just a shallot. It's a medium-sized shallot. It'd be about the size of a median onion. But I like shallots in this. It's more subtle, it's delicious. That one down there, get rid of this rubbish. Now when it comes to the mushrooms, we're going to fry the mushrooms first before they go into soup. So these are medium-sized brown mushrooms. Now what you want to do is not cut them too thin. That's my preference anyway. So probably about so thick. Right, let me cut the rest of these up and the shallots up, and then we'll get the fry pan going and I'll show you what I do. Right, we've got the gas on medium to medium high, not that high, because you want to cook these not so much slowly, but you want to cook them evenly, I suppose is a better way of doing it. So there's about 2 tablespoons of olive oil in there and a wad of butter. How big? I don't know, tablespoon, I guess. Now how I cook the mushrooms seems a bit pedantic, but you'll see. Just going to cook all of these mushrooms till they're well, not burnt or golden brown, but just got a nice coating on the actual edge of the mushroom. It'll be about 3/4 cooked by the time I'm finished. And these brown mushrooms are absolutely sensational, they really are. And I'll cook these first on the one side, then I'll flip them over, then I'll add the shallots. I know these seem like a lot of steps, but it really isn't. It really is just a way of doing this particular soup, which is very special. Truly is a gift for you, trust me. You make this for your family and friends, or if you happen to own a restaurant, a bowl of this would probably sell in a fancy restaurant for, I'm guessing, between $15 and $30. And I'm being serious. Right, that's all the mushies in. Let's get this one side coated, flip them over, and then we'll add the shallot. I need some of these to be ready to turn over now. You just want that sort of colour on the mushroom. It seems like a lot of mushrooms in there, but if you cook mushrooms before, you know they start to shrink, they start to let go of their water. And before you know it, it seems like you haven't got many mushrooms in there at all. But there were about 5 or 6 medium-sized mushrooms that went into this. I love mushrooms. I'm sure many people do. Won't take me long. I have all these turned over. Get over you, little bugger. Go on. See that colour I'm after. And now, we've pretty much got everything we need to do. I will add the shallots, which I've cut just in half, and then finally just enough to give it a little bit of body still, so you don't lose all that. You don't want very fine. It'll be about another 3 or 4 minutes, we'll be finished. And this will directly go into the soup, even with that little bit of butter that's in there too. I'll drain a lot of the oil away, but leave that texture of the butter on there. Now while we're here and that's doing what it's doing, I shall show you, sorry for moving around. You get these all over the world, so it's nothing special. These are just a packet of Singapore noodles, which I take out. And I just simply undo, if you like, because they're in a big package. What I'm doing is just breaking them up. You could put them in hot water if you want it. I never do, because they're going to cook in the soup for a while. But they're not going in the soup until later. So there's your Singapore noodles. They will be going in the soup in probably about 20 or 30 minutes. Let's get back to these mushies, get them finished, and we'll put them in the soup. All right, the mushrooms, shallots are where I like them to be. I'll just show you. Most of the fat and oil off, but they're still coated in butter, which is an integral part of the flavour of the soup. Like I say, you could add more mushrooms, but I think it's a balance. 5 or 6 medium-sized mushrooms for me is enough. You can see that broth is just starting to come to a gentle simmer. I'm going to keep it that way probably for another 15 minutes. I want everything to incorporate before I add the noodles and before I add these pork and chive dumplings, which are still frozen, which is perfectly okay. They'll go straight into the broth. Let's give this 15 minutes at a gentle simmer and we'll come back. All right, that's been simmering for about 10, 11 minutes, which is enough. Smells fantastic. What I'm going to do now is put those noodles in. These are Singapore noodles, just 1 packet. And also these, which are those pork and chive dumplings. In each pack there's 9 or 10, and they are still frozen, but in they go. Believe me, you make this soup you'll always make it. Maybe just for special occasions. Even though the ingredients seem a little bit complicated, they're not. They're very straightforward. And leave this now to simmer. Again, it's just on a mild simmer for probably 10 minutes, maybe 11 or 12. And then I'll put the lid on, turn it off. And then in about 10 minutes after that, we're ready to eat. All right, it's been about 3 or 4 more minutes long. Those little chive and pork parcels are slowly starting to rise. And I suppose if you wanted to categorize what sort of food this is, it's fusion. It's a mixture of everything. It's probably leaning towards Asian, but it's got, like I say, smoked chicken. It's one of these things, trust me, when you taste this, you'll realize how good it is, and you can call it what you like, but I just call it the magic soup, because it is magic. All right, we'll simmer this for about another 5 or 6 minutes, put the lid on, and then we'll dish it out. About 8 or 9 minutes into, I'm more than happy. You can see all the pork and chive dumplings, they're coming to the surface, which means they're done. So I'm going to put the lid on this, and then we'll come back and have some. All right, it's been steeping, if you like, for about 15 minutes, and that is ready to go. So let's put some in the bowl. Now, we'll go and taste it. All right, we've got some yummy crusty bread to go with our dinner. And this is a very filling soup, trust me. Like I say, it's got the chicken in there as well, but just cut one of these dumplings up, have a mouthful. Le Manger soup, magnifique. Trust me, make this once and you'll make it 1,000 times. If you have been, thanks for watching.